Ever wondered why suffering exists and how to finally find inner peace? In this video, we're diving deep into the timeless wisdom of Buddhism, from the Four Noble Truths to the Eightfold Path, to uncover how these teachings can completely change your life. This isn't about religion. It's about understanding your mind, your habits, your suffering, and learning how to transform them. You'll also hear a powerful Zen story that holds a lesson for everyday life, and you'll walk away with simple practices to apply starting today. Ready to begin your path to clarity, purpose, and calm? Then don't go anywhere. Why Buddhism still matters today? The world today feels louder than ever. Stress, constant distractions, overwhelming decisions, endless scrolling. In the middle of this noise, many are searching not for more information, but for meaning, for peace. And that's exactly where Buddhism comes in. Buddhism is not about worship. It's a path of understanding, a way to investigate the mind in the nature of reality. It doesn't ask you to believe, it asks you to look, to observe, to experience. And at its heart is one simple yet revolutionary idea. Suffering is part of life, but you don't have to be trapped by it. Let's rewind over 2,500 years. A young prince named Siddhartha Gautama leaves the luxury of his palace after witnessing illness, aging, and death. Shocked by this raw truth of existence, he begins a journey, not to escape life, but to understand it deeply. After years of meditation and ascetic practices, he awakens. He becomes the Buddha, the awakened one. What he discovers is not a divine secret, but a universal truth that suffering has a cause and also a solution. But what makes Buddhism still relevant? Simple. The problems of the human mind haven't changed. We're still driven by desire, fear, anger, and confusion. And just like 2,500 years ago, we still look outside for happiness, in careers, relationships, money, attention, only to find that nothing lasts. Buddhism teaches us to look inward, not to reject the world, but to understand how our own perceptions, attachments, and aversions shape what we call reality. It's about training the mind, cultivating awareness, and living with intention. This path is not a doctrine. It's a tool, a method, a way to live with clarity in a world that often feels chaotic. And here's what's beautiful. You don't need robes, mantras, or temples to start. You need curiosity, openness, and the willingness to sit with yourself, even for a minute a day. One breath at a time, one step. That's how awakening begins. In the next chapter, we'll explore what the Buddha taught in his first sermon, the Four Noble Truths, the foundation of all Buddhist wisdom, and a guide that still holds the key to inner freedom today. The Four Noble Truths. After reaching enlightenment, the Buddha didn't keep his discovery to himself. He gave a teaching known as the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta, the turning of the wheel of Dharma, where he shared the Four Noble Truths. This moment marked the beginning of truths are not beliefs, they're observations, things anyone can verify through their own experience. The first truth, dukkha, suffering, exists. This doesn't mean life is only pain, but it points to something deeper. We experience dissatisfaction all the time. We chase pleasure, but it fades. We try to hold on to people, situations, youth, but nothing stays the same. Even happiness comes with a shadow, the fear that it won't last. This constant tension, this craving for things to be different, is the heart of dukkha. The second truth, the cause of suffering is craving. We suffer not because things happen, but because we attach ourselves to outcomes. We crave pleasure, we crave permanence, we crave identity. And when reality doesn't match our expectations, we feel frustration, sadness, anger. The Buddha pointed out that the root of this suffering lies in tanha, thirst. This thirst pushes us to chase endlessly. It's not that desire is evil. The problem is ignorance. We don't see things as they are. The third truth, there is an end to suffering. This is the most hopeful part. The Buddha was not pessimistic. He was a realist. He saw suffering, yes, but he also saw the possibility of liberation. If suffering has a cause, it also has a cure. When craving ceases, suffering ends. This state is known as nirvana, not a place, but a condition of deep inner freedom. Imagine living without being pulled in every direction by desire or fear. That's not fantasy, that's a possibility. The fourth truth, there's a path that leads to the end of suffering. This is where Buddhism becomes a practice. The Buddha laid out a method, a way of life called the Noble Eightfold Path. It's not a set of commandments, but a guide to align your actions, speech, thoughts, and awareness with wisdom and compassion. And it's incredibly practical. It's something you can begin applying today. These four truths are not abstract philosophy. They're a map, a mirror. They help us see our patterns clearly. They help us respond instead of react. They point us toward freedom, not by changing the world, but by transforming how we relate to it. Let's make it real. Try this. Next time you feel irritated, pause, breathe, ask, what am I expecting right now that reality isn't giving me? That question alone brings awareness, and awareness opens a door. In the next chapter, we'll begin to walk the path itself, starting with the first two steps of the Eightfold Path, right view and right intention. These are the roots of all inner transformation. The Eightfold Path, right view and right intention. The Buddha described the Eightfold Path as the middle way, not extreme indulgence, not extreme denial, but a balanced way of living that leads to the end of suffering. It's often shown as a wheel with 8 spokes, each one representing a different aspect of the path. And it all begins with how we see. The first step is right view. This doesn't mean agreeing with a set of beliefs. It means understanding life as it really is. Right view starts with recognizing the Four Noble Truths, seeing that suffering exists, that it has causes, that it can end, and that there's a path to that end. But right view goes deeper. It means seeing that everything is impermanent. People change. Feelings come and go. Even thoughts are passing clouds. When you really see impermanence, you stop clinging so tightly. You begin to relax into the flow of life instead of fighting it. Right view also includes karma, the idea that your actions have consequences, not in a superstitious sense, but practically. If you act out of anger, you create conflict. If you act out of kindness, you create trust. Every word, every gesture, every thought leaves a mark, not just in the world, but in your own heart. This leads to the second step, right intention. While right view is about how you see, right intention is about what drives you. What's in your heart? What motivates your actions? The Buddha described 3 kinds of right intention: the intention of renunciation, letting go of grasping. It doesn't mean giving up everything, but recognizing that no possession, no achievement, no person can give you permanent satisfaction. The intention of goodwill, choosing kindness instead of ill will. Even when others hurt us, we can learn to respond with understanding instead of hate. The intention of harmlessness, living in a way that doesn't create suffering for others. This includes compassion, empathy, and care in every action. Let's bring it down to earth. Imagine waking up tomorrow and asking yourself, what's driving me today? Is it fear, ego, envy, or is it kindness, service, wisdom? You don't have to change your entire life. Just start by planting better seeds in your mind. When the intention is right, everything that grows from it will carry that energy. Here's something simple to try. At the beginning of the day, set one intention, just one. Something like, I will speak with more patience, or I will listen without interrupting. Let that guide your day. That's how the path begins. Not with grand changes, but with small conscious shifts. Next, we move from inner clarity to outer action. How we speak, how we act, and how we live. In the next chapter, we explore right speech, right action, and right livelihood, the ethical foundation of the path. The Eightfold Path: right speech, right action, and right livelihood. Once your view is clear and your intentions are rooted in wisdom and kindness, the next step is to bring that inner clarity into the world. Through your words, your actions, and how you earn your living. This is the ethical part of the Eightfold Path, and it's all about how you live in harmony with others and with yourself. Let's begin with right speech. Words are powerful. They can heal or they can harm. Right speech means using your voice in a way that brings truth, connection, and peace. It means speaking truthfully, not lying or twisting facts. Speaking kindly, not using harsh or cruel language. Speaking meaningfully, not gossiping or wasting words on distractions. Speaking at the right time, not saying things that don't help or that hurt unnecessarily. Try this. Before you speak, ask yourself, is it true? Is it necessary? Is it kind? These three questions can completely shift your conversations and relationships. Next is right action. This is about what you do with your body. Are your actions aligned with your values? Are they causing harm or reducing it? The Buddha emphasized three basic ethical guidelines. Do not harm living beings. This includes practicing nonviolence and compassion, bring them into alignment. This part of the path brings Buddhism into daily life. It's not about sitting on a cushion all day. It's about how you move through the world, how you speak, how you act, how you live. And in the next chapter, we move into the final section of the path, training the mind. We'll explore right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration, and how they can transform the way you experience every moment.
सीखो ऐप डाउनलोड करो और फ्लुएंट इंग्लिश बोलना सीख लो।
इंस्टॉल नाउ पे क्लिक करो और अभी सीखो ऐप डाउनलोड करो।
The Eightfold Path: right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration. Now we come to the final three steps of the Eightfold Path, the tools that shape your inner life. If the earlier parts of the path help you understand life and live ethically, this final part helps you train your mind, the source of all experience. And this is where transformation begins at the deepest level. We start with right effort. The Buddha wasn't asking for extreme discipline or endless struggle. Right effort is about balanced, wise energy, not too tight, not too loose. It's the effort to guide your mind gently but consistently toward clarity and kindness. Right effort has four dimensions. Prevent unwholesome states from arising, like anger, envy, or greed. Abandon unwholesome states that have already arisen. Cultivate wholesome states, like love, patience, and generosity. Maintain and strengthen those wholesome states once they're present. You don't force the mind. You nourish it like a garden. Weeds will come, sure, but you learn to remove them without judgment and water the seeds you want to grow. Then comes right mindfulness. This is one of the most talked about aspects of Buddhism today, and for good reason. Right mindfulness is the practice of being fully present in the moment, without clinging, judgment, or distraction. It's about being aware of your body, your feelings, your thoughts, and your surroundings, not to control them, but to understand them deeply. Mindfulness is not zoning out or becoming passive. It's a powerful, awake presence. When you eat, just eat. When you walk, just walk. When you listen, really listen. Try this. For 1 minute today, do something, anything with full attention. No phone, no multitasking, just pure presence. You'll start to see how rare that is and how healing. And finally, right concentration. This is about developing a stable, focused mind. Through meditation, you learn to direct your attention with calm, undivided awareness. In Buddhist terms, this leads to jhanas, deep meditative absorptions, but even simple concentration brings incredible benefits. A scattered mind reacts, a focused mind responds. With right concentration, your awareness deepens. You see thoughts come and go without being pulled around by them. You experience a sense of peace that's not dependent on the outside world. This trio, effort, mindfulness, concentration, is like sharpening the lens through which you experience life. You begin to move from autopilot to awareness, from reaction to understanding. In the next chapter, we'll explore how your actions echo through time, with a deep dive into karma, rebirth, and samsara, and how they shape your present and future. Karma, rebirth, and samsara. For many, the words karma and rebirth sound mystical or abstract, but in Buddhism, they're not meant to be distant beliefs. They're tools for understanding the nature of life and responsibility. Let's begin with